Well, hello everybody. This is Todd Creager, and this time I have a special guest. Now, this special guest is very, very special to me. This is Arielle Creager. She is my oldest daughter. She is 28. She is a very successful and amazing trainer. She has helped me virtually because she lives in LA and I live in Orange County, even though we do get together, but oftentimes she'll just help, and she's amazing how she could help out, and she's also in graduate school getting her master's in human nutrition, right? So why do I have my daughter here with me today? It's because the two of us are going to talk about how to overcome self-sabotage. With the new year upon us, or it doesn't really matter whether it's New Year or whether you're hearing this 4 months from now or whenever you're hearing this recording, at any time, it's important to be able to learn how to overcome ourselves. That there are areas in our lives where we can sabotage ourselves. Some of us are really good in some areas and maybe not so much in others. The two of us will be talking about three main areas, even though she'll do a lot of the talking about fitness, and she'll be doing a lot of talking about food and whatever else she wants to talk about, fitness and lifestyle and food. I'll throw in my 2 cents about relationships, because we sabotage in relationships and there's reasons why we do it. So we're going to go a little deep into it, and you'll be able to hear from her as well as I about how to overcome it. So, hi, sweetie.
Hi. Thanks for the great introduction. I thought
Yeah.
you were going to give them my social security number.
Not that. Not even
No.
your driver's license number. Do that. All right. So you have been working a lot, even in your young life, with many different people of all ages too. You've been working with
Mhm.
people both in person and virtually, with people a lot younger than you, as well as people well older than me. I
Yeah.
know. So,
Yeah.
and the range, everything in between. So I just want you to start speaking a little bit about what you see with your clients and with people in general, when it comes to lifestyle and health, emotional, but even physical. What gets in their way? What stops them from doing the things that they need to do?
Yeah. I think that I'm a big part of the overcoming obstacles is way before people come to me. There's, I believe, 5 phases of change. And I think that it applies to what you do as well, where the first, there's pre-contemplation, contemplation, I believe it's action, maintenance, and I think I missed one in between.
Pre-contemplation,
Yeah.
contemplation, preparation.
Preparation. So then action is not, so there's 3 steps before people come to me.
Right.
So there's a huge part of the population that's stuck in those first 3 phases. And, there are a variety of obstacles. But what I see once people come to me and have taken action that blocks people from getting to their goals is there's a variety of obstacles. And one that I know we mentioned and I talked to you about is self-compassion. I think there's a lot of lack of self-compassion with, this idea of like what people should be doing, like what I should be eating, what I should look like, how many times I should work out, how hard this should be for me. I have many clients that most of my clients are like, this shouldn't be this hard. This should, and I'm like, you're doing great. It's this idea of failure, basically. And I think that holds people back a lot from really achieving their goals and sticking to habits, because people get exasperated and they feel like a constant failure.
That's that, I don't hear this a lot. I don't hear people talking about that piece of it, the
Mm.
self-compassion piece. There's other pieces that you might get to, but the self-compassion piece, it's great that you led with that, because
Yeah.
I think you're right that people are so either anticipating failure, or they're not measuring up from their critical voice in their head.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
could be very demotivating.
Absolutely. And even demotivating, and also kind of keeps you stuck. where you are, because you don't, someone can think they can't get any further than that. They can't lose any more weight. They can't, take any more things out of their diet, yada, yada. So I feel like those are big reasons that people have those obstacles. And then there's obviously ways to overcome them, but being stuck in that mindset is easier than working hard and overcoming them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, regarding that whole piece of self-compassion, what are some of the things that you might instruct them or coach them with in whether you're talking about physical fitness and exercise, whether you're talking about eating? How do you help them overcome this critical piece that's in their way that prevents them to get to that action stage eventually into the maintenance stage?
Yeah. Regarding self-compassion, in general, I tend to approach my clients and what they're doing with compassion for them. So they understand I'm not over here like I push my clients, but I let them know that they're doing well so that they are motivated to continue. Otherwise, if I think there's a style of training and coaching that I didn't need air quotes, but that is like push, push, push. And that might appeal to some people, but I think for a lot of people, it's very demotivating. But I don't know if you wanted me to go into, there are ways for people themselves, for my clients to overcome those obstacles. I mean, I'm there to guide, but okay. So I wrote down some things. My biggest thing, especially in regards to food, is food journaling. I do it for myself sometimes. If I feel that I've eaten an entire jar of peanut butter in a few days, which is my complete kryptonite, I say, okay, I need to start writing down my food to hold myself accountable, to be eating correct portions, to not be binge eating this peanut butter jar. Obviously, that's a very trivial example, but I think food journaling holds people accountable. You see it, it makes it tangible. And me holding them accountable, knowing I'm going to see it. And it's not like everyone needs that trainer coach. Some people do, but just having someone in your life who can help you obviously, first should be you. I want people to hold themselves accountable, but it helps to have someone else to hold you accountable.
Yeah, accountability partner. By the way, about the peanut butter, since we're going to be together for about 4 days and we're taking some peanut butter, please bring a food journal because I want to eat some of that peanut butter.
For you and for me, you mean?
Well, no, no, I think I'll be okay with
yeah, I might not be.
5 other things.
But yeah, so that's the main one. And some other things I like to talk about are like hacks that just make it easier to eat healthier. So there's like the 50-25-25 rule, where you look at your plate, 50% of your plate should be vegetables and fruit, 25% protein, and 25% like good carbs. There's also meal prepping. Like I love overnight oats. So if I'm hungry, instead of going for something that's maybe a little unhealthier, I have my protein oats. So a lot of overcoming poor habits in terms of food is just setting yourself up for success, in my opinion.
That's good. I also, I know you mentioned to me, just because we're doing this pretty spontaneously, but you did mention SMART goals, which I teach with my grad students.
Yeah.
Even though I'm a therapist, I'm also a professor. So when you're talking about SMART goals, so talk a little bit about what that means. That's an acronym. SMART.
Yeah. So it stands for specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound. There's other variations of it, but the whole idea, and usually that's in terms of like fitness or weight loss goals. But the whole idea is to have something that's so specific, because if you have too broad of a goal or it encompasses too many things, again, it's about setting yourself up for success. So that could potentially set you up for failure. And I've been there where I'm like, okay, I'm going to meditate every day, and then I'm going to, turn off my technology, and I'm going to, read a book, and then it's too much at once and none of it happens. So it's always better to have something more specific. So I wrote a couple of examples down. For an example would be, I will take 2 workout classes a week for 30 days. It's specific, it's time bound, it's relevant to that person's goals ideally, and it's fairly attainable and it's measurable, right? You can count how many times you take a class.
Yeah.
Another example, in 1 month, I will be able to walk 60 minutes straight without resting. I'll give one more,
It's good.
two more goals because they're all different, right? Another one is weight loss. If you have a specific, in 2 months, I would like to lose 5 pounds by doing X, Y, Z, and maybe like it's an action. So I will be able to do, I will be able to do one pull-up in 30 days. So there's a lot of different SMART goals that can kind of encompass different parts of lifestyle. So having those is really nice to keep in mind, write it down, think about it, so that's important as well.
That's great. That's really good. Sometimes when I'm working with people, because even in my field, like with relationships, so
Mhm. Wait, pause that thought. You're going to hear a lot of background noise because my cat is in the recycle.
I'm
Don't
all about
forget.
my cat, but don't
Don't,
recycle the cat. So
don't,
yeah,
don't forget where you're,
this is real life here, right? This is real
don't
life.
forget.
You have her cat is like amazing. It's the most. It's a
The
cat that looks
three-legger.
like a dog and gets into trouble all the time.
You
So what
get
I was
rid
going to say is in relationships too, and basically what you and I are talking about is how to do the harder thing, even though
Mhm.
it's easier in the long run, versus
Yeah.
the easier thing, which is harder in the long run. So, for example, as you know, I work out, I hike, and it makes it easier to lift things that are heavier. It makes it
Mhm.
easier to keep up with you when you
Mhm.
do things because I work out. But obviously the harder thing is going up that hill. And when it comes to relationships, listening with my couples that I see, the easier thing in the short term is to get reactive and defensive.
Yeah.
The harder thing is take a breath. It's like I call it building emotional muscle,
Mhm.
And so one of the things that I do with people to help them overcome self-sabotage is to understand the saboteur, the inner saboteur,
Mhm.
the part that is getting in the way. That part that's getting in the way is trying to do something good if it's not. It's like
It's
it's like
like,
a
is it a protective?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So it's oftentimes a protective part when it comes to relationships. So
Yeah.
it's like a well-intentioned, but it doesn't give a good result. And so, for example, a person that shuts down, instead of, if I say to him, well, stop shutting down, well, that's not going to do anything. I got to
Yeah.
deal with the resistance. And I know you do that with your clients too.
Yeah.
Dealing with, so to get more interested in a loving and accepting way, like tell me more about that part of you that shuts down. What is it doing
Mhm.
for you? How is it protecting you? Or the person that right away gets all emotional, maybe even starts to raise their voice. What does that do for you? What is that part of you protecting you from? And ultimately, my job is to get to the parts that are the most wounded
Yeah.
and that's in the way. So I think whether you're talking about relationship, whether you're talking about fitness, whether you're talking about nutrition, which is part of fitness,
Mhm.
um, just about anything, even just working on a career, it's always helpful, I think, to tune in to that part. What is that
Yeah.
part? And we have different parts. This is really a very important concept that we have different parts, and they're not always in agreement. It's like having a bunch of people in a committee room, and they don't all agree with each other. But we have to decide what what's the part, what's the healthiest part, right? And we got the
Mhm.
healthiest part, the part that's loving, the part that's disciplined, the part that wants that's a dreamer that wants to see what we could. Well, we
Mhm.
want that to run the show. We know there's other parts that are going to be going. Yeah, but what if you don't reach the goal? You'll be disappointed. So why do
Yeah.
you
They're
do
like,
it?
come
Right,
back.
right, right,
Yeah.
right. So I know you and I could talk forever. Maybe we'll do this again. But the
Yeah.
key here is what we're talking about is overcoming that resistance to
Yeah.
doing that right thing. And like I said really earlier in this, that you are a trainer extraordinaire and you do it
Mhm.
virtually, or people could come to you in your area of town of West Hollywood. Um, but virtually works just great, just like what I do lately. I've been doing it all virtual, and it works
Yeah.
just great.
But
Um,
coming from a dance background, you learn how to cue people properly.
yes, cueing.
See all the little things.
Yeah,
All that ballet paid off,
yes, it did, and it's just
literally for you.
yeah, like when to the audience that's listening or watching. I mean, it's like she'll just say, move this way 5 degrees, or straighten this. And I'm like, how do you see this on the video? But she sees me pretty loud, pretty wide and big, I guess, on the video.
Yeah.
And it's been immensely helpful. And I know the nutrition part of it too, that you've been doing more and more of as well.
Mm.
So I just tell people how they can get in touch with you if they're interested in working with you to overcome their sabotage and to reach the goals that they want.
Yeah, especially in this new year. Will you link to it with the
Yeah,
in
I'll
the
have
notes?
this. I'll
Okay,
have this.
great.
Yeah, but
I was
say
like,
it,
should I
and then
spell this out? Yeah, I would say email would probably be the best. So it's Arielle CPT at healthylivingwithari.com. That's my company, Healthy Living with Ari. You can also find me at Instagram with Healthy Living with Ari.
yeah. So and you'll see that link, and every time you type it in, you're already burning calories because it's a long name. But
That's
is
good.
that good? Is
Yeah,
that
that's
good?
funny. That
Yeah,
was funny.
yeah. I'm known among my family for giving bad jokes because every once in a while it comes out with, it's
That was a good one, though. That was a good one.
yeah, it's a
Wasn't
garbage.
quite a Toddism. It was
Yes,
better.
yes. The Toddism is definitely not. It's a bad joke, but that was not a Toddism, which is good. Yeah. So say it one more time. Just say it one more time.
Yeah, Arielle CPT at healthylivingwithari.com. And then that second part is my Instagram as well, Healthy Living with Ari.
Okay. Thanks, my dear. See you
Thank
soon. And
you.
thank you all. And hopefully you could benefit, or if you know someone that could, please pass this on. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.